In fact, epinephrine is made from dopamine. So let's just take a step back and think about what we're talking about when we're talking about sleepiness. Sleepiness is driven by increases in adenosine that happen naturally. Caffeine prevents the adenosine from having its action of making us sleepy by blocking that receptor. So it gives us energy and it increases our dopamine levels. But some people can't tolerate caffeine very well. Other people can tolerate it just fine. So you need to determine that experimentally. All the data say there's tremendous variation. And right now, the only way that I'm aware of for you to decide whether or not caffeine is a good or a bad thing for you and whether or not you should ingest it at a given time of day or at all is really to figure that out on your own. In fact, there's a small subset of people that can drink caffeine until very late and they have no trouble falling asleep because they actually have a mutant form of the adenosine receptor. So in keeping with the theme of science and science-related tools, this is one of those cases where I can't give you a one-size-fits-all prescription, except to say you need to experiment with caffeine in a way that's safe for you and explore that and figure out what works for you and then stick with that. Okay, so adenosine is driving the sleep hunger. When adenosine is low, it's like we're well-fed, we're not very hungry. And when adenosine is high, it's like we're fasted for a long time and we tend to be very hungry. So that when adenosine is high, we really want to fall asleep. If you want, I'm not suggesting you do this experiment, but you can do it. You can stay up for 4 more hours than you're used to staying up, and you'll find that you're very, very sleepy. That's because adenosine is building up at levels higher and higher because you've been awake for those extra 4 hours. However, if you've ever pulled an all-nighter, you'll notice something interesting. As morning rolls around, you'll suddenly feel an increase in your energy and alertness again, even though adenosine has been building up for the entire night. Now, why is that? The reason that is because there's a second force which is governing when you sleep and when you're awake. And that force is a so-called circadian force. Circadian means about a day or about 24 hours. And inside all of us is a clock that exists in your brain and my brain and the brain of every animal that we're aware of that determines when we want to be sleepy and when we want to be awake. Just think about it. We don't go through the day wanting to fall asleep every 30 minutes and then feeling like we're wide awake. Our sleep and our period of sleepiness tends to be condensed into one block, typically one 6 to 10 hour block, although there's also variation in terms of how much people want to sleep. And we're going to discuss how you can diagnose your absolute sleep need as well as how to recover sleep that you've lost.